Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. All right, this is important, and we know the path this is leading us down. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video uh, letting y'all know to check out the safety, the security of your bank. Right? Okay, a lot of you guys asked me. A lot of you guys checked it. Uh, I used it. Friends have used it, etc. To make sure that their banks are legit. Right? Remember that. About a year or so ago, I did a video that was me going trying to buy some silver, and I was trying to get some cash out of an ATM machine, and I had few ATM machines that wouldn't give me cash at all. That was an issue. Okay. Now, personally, I might use an ATM machine one or two times a year. That's it. Okay. I go to a branch bank, I get cash right out. So, my personal thought is I don't need to pay you a fee, ATM fee, to take out my own money. Okay. I always laugh. It's like, will you accept this $2.95 fee? And somebody's going, yeah, well, I'm taking out $20. Who cares? Going, all right, you just paid 15% to take out your own money. Right. You know, I'll go to a teller and say, give me my money. It doesn't cost me anything. Well, there's a couple of things that happened over the weekend that might give you a little push to start getting some cash in your pocket, in your house, because this is starting to get scarier and scarier. First one, here in Knoxville. A friend of mine went on Saturday to four different ATMs at with four different banks. None of them would give her cash. She finally got the cash out at a fifth ATM. Okay? Had the money in the account, no problem. The ATMs just weren't working, weren't dispersing cash. Well, that tells you a couple of things. It wasn't a hack on a bank because this was four different banks. It wasn't a hack on Star or Cirrus or anything like that because she was eventually able to get cash out at an ATM. So this was a problem with the network or something within the ATM system. Has it ever happened to you when you got the money in the bank, obviously, that you go to the ATM machine and it doesn't work? Okay. Imagine now the something happens. Okay. We could talk about EMPs or the power grid, but something like that happens, the ATM machines aren't going to work anyway. But there's a storm coming, whether it's a hurricane or a tornado or whatever. There's some sort of event that is going to trigger people to try to get cash out quick. Again, it's just like the grocery store. You don't want to be standing in line for gasoline or standing in line for milk and bread when the rest of the world is all doing it as well. You want to have that done ahead of time so they can go spend 4 hours in line waiting to use the ATM machine while you're at the hardware store picking up something that you need or whatever. You're one step ahead of them. Okay? That was the first thing that happened. Here's the second one. And this is much more worrisome. Would you all agree with me that big tech is leftist? Okay, that they are completely on board with this whole great reset bullshit. And, hey, we're going to CBDC and you'll own nothing and be happy. Would you all agree that big tech is right along the lines? Probably. Okay. I'd bet roughly, if you just take the average of the United States, half of you right now are watching this video on an iPhone, an iPad, some sort of Apple product, right? Okay. And yes, I'm a Android guy, so be it. I'm not Mrs. P's an Apple person, okay? Figure that's one of the differences we have. This is where you start getting worried. Apple recently signed a partnership with Goldman Sachs. Okay, Goldman Sachs being one of the big New York brokerages, one of the big financial institutions in the country. Apple started a banking account, a banking arrangement where you could get an Apple account through Goldman Sachs. And within the first 4 days of offering this product, they attracted over $1 billion in customer deposits. Okay. People, I always laugh, people that they are very loyal to their cell phone company. I mean, I've never owned an Apple product in my life. I never will. Personally, I think Apple's junk. Can't stand any of it. Their own browser and, can't use anything else. Only their products work. And, that they've got you completely hoodwinked into you have to buy Apple products. You can't use anybody else, but that's another story. So Apple brought out this account, savings account. It was, woohoo, we're paying 4.15% interest, and people flock to it. Okay, now it's not like they're the only bank that has these high interest savings accounts. There's plenty of them out there, but people love Apple. So, if Apple opens a grocery store, everybody, I got to go to that store. They're addicted to Apple. Well, here's the problem. Apple was great at taking people's money. Apple just doesn't seem to want to give it to you when you want to get it out. Okay. There was a story that was broke by the Wall Street Journal over the weekend and then picked up by a couple other news media organizations. I'll link below the one for the Daily Mail because you can read that without having a subscription. I can't give you the Journal one because that one you got to subscribe to it. I'm not going to tell you guys to go pay for that. Okay, I'll find a different way to show it to you. Numerous stories, but this was the most interesting one, and it was mentioned in this article. A gentleman by the name of Nathan Thacker, who lives in Atlanta, had been trying to take $1,700 out and move it from his Apple account to his JP Morgan Chase account. Okay, it's around the first of the month. My guess is to pay his rent, pay his mortgage, or something like that. First of the month, we usually have bills due, right? But he'd been trying since May 15th. And every time he tried to transfer the money, Apple gave him some sort of excuse. Every time he talked to Goldman Sachs told him, wait a couple more days. We've got to see if it'll clear. It was his paycheck. Have you ever had a problem with a direct deposit not being available immediately? If you deposit a check, maybe your paycheck might have to have a hold on it, but direct deposit is available funds instantly. Okay. There are people all over the place. There's another guy up in Minnesota by the name of Kevin Smith who was trying to transfer 10 grand from his Apple account to his U.S. bank account. What it was for, who knows? Maybe he was trying to buy something big. Don't know. Okay. He couldn't get it done either for days upon days upon days. And finally, Apple was like, oh, okay, we'll let you transfer the money out. And he's like, screw it. I'm closing my entire account. Okay. The people are all over Twitter saying, do not set up direct deposit with Apple. You won't get your money. Okay. This is concerning because we talk about bail-ins all the time. What's going on at Apple? Are these glitches? Goldman Sachs has been around for a century. Okay, it's not like they have banking issues. It's not like e-banking is a new entity and we've got to work out the kinks in it. It's not difficult. All right, there's thousands of e-banking platforms out there. But why all of a sudden is it big tech, our great friend of big tech, who begs for your money? Hey, we've got them now. Let's see if we can get their cash from them. I need my money back. Oh, I'm sorry. We can't give it to you. We need to wait a few days. Maybe maybe they'll forget about it. Maybe they'll figure out a different way to get the money to pay the rent, to pay the mortgage or whatever, and they'll leave the money here with us. You know that's what's going on. Guys, make sure 100% you have money at home. Okay. I've harped on this for months, for basically since the beginning of the channel. As best you can, a goal should be 6 months worth of your bills in cash at home. I mean, that's what it should be. Because if this happens here, who's to say it doesn't happen at Chase, Capital One, Discover Bank, Bank of America, whoever? Eventually, they're going to come to take your money. They're not going to give it back. Y'all have told me hundreds of stories about, I go into the bank and the bank says, well, why are you taking out money? None of your effing business. It's my money. Why are you trying to keep my money? Okay. No, it's none of your, I want X amount of dollars. Give it to me. Why? Because it's mine. That's it. Okay. We, just like Bud Light, just like Kohl's, just like Target, just like any of these other companies, Disney, you pick one. It's time to start putting the pressure on the banks and go, you know what? I don't like the way you're doing business. I'm not doing business with you anymore. Our votes may not matter much at all anymore, but our dollars still do to them. And as long as we have them and they don't, meaning our dollars, they'll always have more money than we do. But they want more. That's all they're after. Power and control. They want more, they want more, they want more, they want more. We need to stop giving them more and start taking back what's ours. Pinball out.